Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. It's Stephanie from Lumeria Star. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I have my air conditioner running like kind of directly on me because here in New Jersey it's only 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm filming this before work and it's already 90 degrees, so it's a hot one. So yeah, hopefully, I guess I'll just talk a little bit louder. But anyway, today what I thought we would do is I actually wanted to start a new hashtag. There's so many fun hashtags and like VRs on YouTube, and they've been so much fun to watch. I've done a couple of them myself, so I thought it'd be cool to start my own. So if you'd like to join in, today we are talking about decks you might want to mod. So the hashtag, I believe, will be hashtag decks I want to mod. So I will put that in the description. So if you want to join in and do a VR, you're just going to use that hashtag decks I want to mod. So without further ado, let's look at some of the decks I'm thinking about modifying in some way, and we can kind of like talk through it. And I'd also love to hear everyone's like thoughts, opinions, and comments below. Obviously I'm still going to do what I want to do anyway, but I always love hearing other people's opinions and thoughts. So the first deck I want to look at is I Know, Shock, Gasp, Pagan Otherworlds. So you guys, I've been saying forever that this deck, I don't use it a lot because it's too long for my hands. It's a little longer than a tarot size, and because of the linen cardstock, it's so slippery. So I got a little excited and I might have already modded it. So this is actually going to be a first showing, so this is very exciting. I haven't shown this off yet. I didn't mod the moon cards yet, so that's kind of off to the side, but I already modded this. I modded this maybe like 2 weeks ago. I just got the itch and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do it, but I'm including it in this video. So I love it. Some other people might think this is like blasphemous and like, why would I ever do this? But I'm obsessed. So I basically just took off the 3 sides. I was debating whether to take the titles off, but I actually really love like the script of the titles, so I decided to keep them. But I am kind of obsessed with my new trimmed copy. So I've used it a couple times, and it's great. I think this is exactly what I needed to really work with this deck. I think what I'll also do to really take the mod to like a full different level, oh, there's something in my eye right now, is I think I'm going to edge it maybe in like some kind of like antique color. I think that'll look really cool. But yeah, I love this. So I think now with my trimming, it's probably the size, I would say, of a Fournier deck if you have one of those. So it's a delight to hold in my hand. I can fully grasp it now. So since I've been shuffling it, it hasn't been getting away from me at all. Yeah, I have no regrets in trimming this deck. I was nervous when I did it because I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is a deck, I don't know, it just feels like more of a precious deck. Does anyone feel that way? But I was like, okay, well, if I ruin it, like it's not the end of the world. It is just like a deck of cards. It's not that big of a deal, but I love it. I absolutely love it. I feel like this is exactly what it needed, and now I'm really excited to work with it. So I'd love to hear what you guys think of this mod. I'm sure, you know, this isn't a popular mod. I feel like everyone loves Pagan Otherworlds as is. I just didn't. So I'll show you how it shuffles now. I still have to mod the moon cards. I just didn't get a chance. And honestly, my hands were cramping because it's just a lot of like repetitive motion of doing like the same like cutting motions, so my hands were so cramped. I was like, oh, I need a break, and I don't need to mod these moon cards right now. See how nice that is? So let's just like, I just want to show you how nice this looks on a spread. I don't know, it just does it for me now. Look how beautiful. Yeah, I'm obsessed with this mod. So this is one I just went for already, but I wanted to include it because I was making a list of all the decks I wanted to mod, and then for this video, and then this one I just, you know, went ahead and did it myself. But yeah, it's just so great. I could just keep playing with this deck. It's perfect. The only thing I need to do is finish the moon cards up and edge it in some kind of like maybe like antique-y color. So yep, this is a deck I already modded and I love what I did with it. So that is the Pagan Otherworlds by UC. Okay, in the same vein, because this is not by the same creator, but it's pretty much, I believe, the same exact card size and card stock. So it's that longer size and it's that really slippery linen finish. This is the Carnival at the End of the World. Those are the extra cards. So I'm thinking with this one, I've seen actually Dawn Michelle from Boho Tarot trim this one. So I think she trimmed off everything. She might, I don't know if she trimmed off the words. I think I just want to trim off this thin black line border. And I think I want to keep the titles because this deck is not an easy reader. And I also want to keep the numbers too. So I think possibly just trimming off the edging will just make it slightly more manageable in my hands. That's why I don't use this deck. Very similar to Pagan Otherworlds. It's just, it's too, like just slightly too long, and the cardstock doesn't have, it's not like a matte cardstock, so it doesn't like kind of stick a little bit to keep it together. So this one literally will just end up all over my floor, and that's why I don't use it. So I'm thinking I might trim off that thin black lined border and then perhaps edge it in maybe a fun color, or maybe multiple fun colors, like maybe some blues, purples, and reds. I don't know, because it is a carnival deck, so it can be kind of quirky. So for anyone who has this deck, or maybe even if you don't, like, let me know in the comments below. Do you think it would look good that way? I think I'm gonna do it anyway, just because I don't use this deck. So it's just sitting here. And again, you know, I'm trying to move away from like decks are precious. Like, I know they're beautiful and, you know, they cost money. I paid for these decks, but at the end of the day, it is just like a deck of cards. So I think if I can trim it and make it usable, that's gonna feel really good to me. And then, you know, if I ruin a card or two, like, to me, it's not the end of the world. I'll still use it. So I think I'm definitely gonna go ahead and do the same trim job as I did with Pagan Otherworlds, and hopefully that'll make me want to use this deck more because the tactile experience will be better. So yeah, so this is another deck I'd like to mod. So definitely trimming off those borders and then maybe edging it in multicolors, kind of similar to the back. So we'll see, or maybe just like one bright color, I don't know. So this is the Carnival at the End of the World deck. This is by Khan and Selesnik. Pretty much same exact card stock and size as Pagan Otherworlds. Okay, so the next deck, I don't know if it's out of print or it's harder to get, but this is Stellas Tarot. I got this on Etsy years ago, and I love, love, love the artwork. It's so beautiful. So this is by Stella, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, so I'm not going to. These are the backs. So it's already a smaller deck. This is smaller than standard tarot. And the artwork is beautiful. I love it. It reminds me of like storybooks and like children's books I used to read, but for some reason I really hate these borders. Like I hate them. And I think that's why I just don't use it. I despise the borders. So I was thinking of trimming all of these off, like completely. I don't even think I would do the titles or the numbers, just because the edging I think would make that a little difficult. So I think it would just be true borderless all the way around. And perhaps, because some of them might be hard to tell what they are, like Princess of Wand, Queen of Discs. So maybe I could write like a little symbol, like the elemental symbol, and maybe like a Q for Queen or P for Princess. I'm not sure what I would do, but I think I want to do it completely borderless. I have someone on my Instagram, I can't remember, is it, oh, what's her name? I think her name is Sarah, 80s Blues Tarot, something like that. I can link it down below, but she trimmed it all the way around, and I saw, that's where I first saw it, and I was like, ooh, I love that idea. So I'm thinking of doing that. That would make it a really, really mini deck, like a very mini deck. But I don't know if I mind that. And again, this one's a little harder to find. I don't think it's out of print, but I think it's harder to find, if that makes sense. I got this on Etsy. So this is another one where I'm like, oh, if I mess this up, is it completely messed up? Should I just like sell it so someone can have it? But then I'm like, well, I like it. I just need to change it a little bit. So I think the back would be fine if I trimmed it. Yeah, I think I would just have to add some kind of something. Like this one, it's easy to tell, 4 of Cups, 3 of Swords, that's easy to tell. Like maybe just a number and an elemental symbol. The Major Arcana, I think, is pretty easy to read. So yeah, this one, I'm a little more nervous about going for it, but this is one that I don't use as is. It's because I just hate these borders. So what do you think? Should I just go for it? Do I just go for the trim? Would you not do it? Would you leave it as is? Do you like the borders? Do you think it matters? Or do I just like rehome this? But I really like the artwork. I don't know. I think when I just use it, I find the borders, it makes the artwork smaller, if that makes sense. I just feel like it feels very, I don't know, constricted. Whereas if they were borderless, they'd be super mini and really cute. I actually realize I like small decks, and I feel like it would just maybe expand these characters out of the scenes. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. So thinking about fully trimming the Stellas Tarot. Let me know in the comments below what you would do. I hate talk boxes. Okay, we're gonna fix that later. Oh, there we go. So let me know what you do down below. Okay, so the next one I haven't been using for a long time, and I know a lot of people have struggled with this in like the tarot community, is a Yogic Path Oracle. So this is by Sahara Rose, and I do really like Sahara Rose. I've read, I have 2 of her books. I've read her Ayurvedic book, and also the Find Your Dharma, which is basically finding your purpose. And this is illustrated by Danielle Noel, so that's like a huge win because I love Danielle Noel. The problem is, okay, I divided this up for a reason. Okay. The problem is, and I think this is a problem that a lot of people had, is the artwork is beautiful. If you like Danielle Noel artwork, it's gorgeous. But like these keywords don't mean anything to me because I'm not familiar, like I'm not well versed in, you know, yogic vocabulary, Ayurvedic vocabulary. I mean, I do yoga, but it doesn't mean I know these words. So when I was using these in a spread, I personally have to fully rely on the guidebook, and I don't like that. I have the guidebook right here. It is a great guidebook. But I just felt like, I don't know, I don't like relying on the guidebook. I like decks where I can just use. So I actually saw a deck mod on Danny Mystic's channel, and she was modding her Work Your Light Oracle. And basically what she did was she just trimmed off the keywords completely, and she took rubber stampers and stamped on her own keyword. And I was like, oh my gosh, that looks so cool and amazing. So I'm thinking of also doing that with my Work Your Light and Starseed oracles from Danielle Noel and Rebecca Campbell. I have them in like a mega deck. I do use the keywords, but a lot of them don't resonate with me. So that's another one I'm putting in that category, but this is one I'm not using at all. So here's a couple ideas I have. I could write in keywords down below and just keep the main keyword. So that's one option. Another option is trim this off completely and use a stamper and stamp on, kind of like Danny Mystic. I can like link her video down below because I really enjoyed what she did with that deck mod. She used a stamper and just stamped on, she actually used her own keywords. And I kind of like that idea, is like just looking at the image and creating a keyword that makes sense for me. So that's something I could do. Another thing I saw was from Lisa Papez. She did a deck mod where I think it was like the little bug oracle, and she just used like a really fine tip pen and just like wrote in little keywords, like really, what's the word I'm looking for? Like subtly. She might have like written it right here, really subtle, really small, and that looked really pretty too. So those are some ideas I have. And then other ideas I have are like, do I, for example, okay, so Thomas, like I don't know, just pulling that, I wouldn't know what that means. So let me look it up in the book. Thomas is 41. Okay, so that means density, dullness, and inertia. Okay, so I can get that from this image. But like, I think maybe what I could do is I can read some of the write-up, like you're in a period of hibernation, which is sometimes needed to blossom into a butterfly. Like hibernation might be a good word for this. Emerge from your cocoon, that's written in here. So I could use some of the guidebook to help me create my own keywords if they resonate, and maybe some of them I just completely do intuitively. So this one could be a fun one, but I'm definitely going to mod this one because I just simply don't use it with these keywords because they don't give me, I don't know enough, and I don't want to use the guidebook. So I want something that's kind of like a quick reader. And the artwork is so gorgeous, so that's why I haven't rehomed it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Would you just write in keywords along with the original keyword? Would you trim it off? Would you create your own, or would you use them from the guidebook? So let me know your thoughts down below. But this is one that I definitely am going to modify. I just don't know which way I'm gonna go. But it's a beautiful deck. It really is, and that's why I haven't given up on it yet. So this is a Yogic Path by Sahara Rose, illustrated by Danielle Noel. Okay, another oracle deck that I'm thinking of modifying is the Literary Witches Oracle. So this was gifted to me by a coworker for Christmas a few years ago, and it was such a sweet gift. I don't use it, which is sad because the artwork is gorgeous. And I was an English major in college, so like the whole idea of just like literary witches it's my vibe. And this artwork is my aesthetic too. It's so beautiful. But I think I just don't know how to use it. So again, you know, I'm seeing all these wonderful mods on YouTube. So Dawn Michelle at Boho Tarot did a really great mod of this deck. She is literally like the mod queen. What she did was she trimmed off the white borders off the author cards. So I think I kept them all separate. Okay, yeah. So these are the author cards. They're fully illustrated and they're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous. So that would be a really easy modification. Just take off the white borders. I would keep the titles like the author. So Shirley Jackson, her keyword is family. These are so stunning. So that would be an easy mod. The part that I don't know what to do with is the witch's tools. So it's almost like two sets of cards in a way. So we have the author cards and then we have these just like witchy, they almost look like Lenormand cards. Like they're very simple. Let me move these out of the way. But I think I just haven't found the correct way for me to use them. So these are the witch's tools. So what Dawn Michelle did is she actually trimmed the witch's tools into these like cute little squares. I think she even took the titles off. So she would like pull one author card and then maybe like 2 or 3 witch's tools, and she would kind of use it that way. So I really liked that idea. I don't know if I would do a full square. I might also just trim just the white border off and maybe leave the title. I don't know. And then maybe keep them separate. So let's say, okay, actually, yeah. So let's say I would keep them separate. So the writer, the author, the literary witch, if you will. So I would maybe pull one as like the main energy or main message. So let's say we would get Leslie Marmon-Silko. So keyword community. So I might be working with that. And there is a tiny little guidebook. It's not like that great, but again, Dawn Michelle, Queen of Mods, she bought the larger book because there is a whole, like, I think it's like a hardcover book about the literary witches, and she's using that as a guidebook. And I was like, well, that's also a cool idea. So I could take this, I could read about Leslie Silko, or I could work off the keyword of community, and then perhaps just some like supporting energies, ghost, rabbit, or if I wanted to do 3, ghost, rabbit, and elixir. So yeah, I don't know. I definitely just want to trim the white borders off of the writers, and then with the witch's tools, I don't know if I'm just doing that, or maybe Dawn Michelle did such a great job. They're like these cool square cards. I can link that down below too, her mod. But let me know what you think I should do with this. But this one needs something because the way it is, I'm not using it. And that's a shame because the artwork is beautiful. Illustrated, so this is written by Tasia, I can't pronounce that, and illustrated by Katie Horan. I really like Katie Horan's art style, but it needs to be used. I don't like decks just sitting around not being used. So that's an idea, and just to show you the guidebook, it's very, very, simple. But if I were to do that, I'd probably go ahead and get the larger book and use that as a companion guidebook. So let me know how you think I should mod this one. And then I also think I would edge it in black. I think just a simple black would look really nice with this. So let me know your thoughts on that possible mod. Okay, so the next one I've been thinking of modding because I'm just simply not using it as is the Amenti Oracle. So this is by Jennifer Sidoni and illustrated by, why don't they put the illustrators on here? Illustrations by Natalie Miller. So I love Natalie Miller's artwork, really beautiful. This box is really nice. I will say that, like, I don't know, the guidebook just wasn't resonating for me. I don't know why, it just seemed like we weren't connecting. So I think so basically this is a deck based off of the ideals of Ma'at, I think that's how you pronounce it, which is an Egyptian deity, Egyptian goddess. So it just wasn't resonating for me. So I think that's why I just stopped using it. So there is a box within the box. I did already edge these in black, which I think was nice. It was just plain white. That gave it a nice pop. But the way the keyword, like the key phrase on here, they're kind of like affirmations, and I just couldn't figure out how to use it in my practice. So like, I affirm that all life is sacred. I act respectfully of others. Like, these are perfectly fine messages, but I just like didn't know how to use that within my practice. I usually pull oracle with tarot. So a couple things I'm thinking of doing. Possibly just trimming off this whole bottom part completely and leaving this border. I could just do that, just a completely intuitive deck. What I could do is also write in a keyword. So I live in truth. Perhaps I keep the keyword truth and I just trim that off and write truth in here. You know, I could use the word accepting, or I could create my own keywords and just totally like not use the book at all since it doesn't resonate with me. So what are your thoughts? Like, should the keyword here be good intent, or do I just create my own? But the way they are here, it's just not working for me. Like, is that peaceful, or is that something else to me? Like, it looks like a hourglass, so perhaps something about time. I don't know. But just the way it is, it's not working for me. But the artwork is great, and I'm drawn to the actual art. So let me know what you think. Do I just like write it in somewhere? Do I use a stamper and use it in, or put it in there? But like, these are not working. So I definitely just want to trim those off first completely. I speak with sincerity. So it's like, is this card mean sincerity? I don't know. I don't know if that's what that means to me. I don't think it means that to me. So maybe I do just completely write my own in. Yeah. But the affirmation phrase has to go for me. It's not hitting the way I want it to. So this is definitely some type of mod. And then what I would do is just re-edge the bottom in black, because the other edges are completely fine. So let me know what you think of that mod, if I should do that. And honestly, I think I would just get rid of this, because I don't use this book at all, and I think it would be perfectly fine just in this box. So that's another mod I'm thinking of doing, because I simply do not use this deck anymore the way it is. Okay, so the last deck I'm thinking of modding, please don't gasp or be shocked in horror, because I know right now this is out of print. This is the Stellas Occulto Tarot. Now, I just realized, I think in the past like week or so, the creator of Stellas Occulto Tarot, I believe, is now finally doing a new reprint and borderless. So now that might change things. This is actually a first edition, and I love this artwork so much, but I hate the borders. I don't know why, but I just hate them. I feel like, I don't know. I want this artwork to be free. So again, Dawn Michelle at Boho Tarot, I think she had a second edition copy because it had black backs. This is a first edition. She trimmed all hers off completely, even with the titles, and they looked fantastic. I think I could do that with this, because this is, even though the artwork is kind of strange, it's very Rider-Waite-Smith, so I think it would be pretty easy. And I could always, you know, for like, I don't know, Knight of Pentacles, I could put a K for Knight or KN, You can clearly see the pentacle, but I think these are pretty easy to tell what they are without the titles, and I feel like they would be freed from their borders. So that's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, but now that there might be this third edition that is borderless, I think I'm gonna shelf this idea, probably get the borderless edition, and then I can always rehome this untouched for someone who might want a first edition and who actually really likes the borders. And I would want that, I would want to be able to give that deck to someone as is. So this is one that I've been wanting to mod, but since the new edition is going to be borderless, I'm not going to do it yet. I want to see the artwork. I want to see if I like it. Most likely I will purchase that, and then I can definitely put this deck up for sale for someone who maybe has been looking for a first edition. It's in amazing condition. I've maybe used it a handful of times just because the borders are, I don't know, I just don't like them. So that is the last deck I have been thinking about modding. I don't know why borders bother me, because sometimes they don't, you know? Let's just pull a couple cards. Like, I just feel like this would look so much better if they were free. Like, if I do a 3-card spread, I feel like the borders, like, separate the cards from, like, talking to each other. I don't know if that is, like, weird, but, like, if they were borderless, I feel like the stories, like, I think one of the reasons I love tarot is the visual storytelling aspect to it. So the borders make it feel like they're these, like, separate contained stories. Without the borders, it feels like all these characters can kind of talk to each other, and all these energies can kind of flow through with each other. So I think that's why a lot of times I don't care for borders, because it just kind of feels like it's its own separate message. I don't know if any of that's making sense. It makes sense in my head. But yeah, this is a deck I want to mod, but I'm going to wait now since I saw there is the new edition. I think she's even drawing some updated cards too. So I'm gonna put this on pause. I will not touch it yet. So if I love the third edition, you know, someone can have the option to own the first edition with the borders should they want it. So these are the decks that I want to mod, or maybe have already modded. So let's put all of these in here. So let me know what you think down below. Definitely let me know your opinions. Do you think the Pagan Otherworlds was a good idea? Do you think I should leave these alone? Do you like borders, or are you like me and a lot of times maybe the borders or the keywords are just not working for you? So let me know down in the comments below, and if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, feel free to do a VR, do a virtual response to this video. Use the hashtag decks I want to mod. And I'd love to see what decks you're thinking about modding and how you would do it, what you would want to do. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.